Let's dive right into this explainer and explore how the 19th century philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche radically reframed how we find meaning in life. Welcome to our journey through one of the most misunderstood yet profoundly empowering philosophical concepts ever written down. We're going to look closely at what it actually takes to maximize our health, our fulfillment, and our raw potential.
So, the crucial point we all face is choosing what to orient our lives around. What's the ultimate value of a good life? It's the ultimate question, right? Every single day, consciously or implicitly, we make choices based on some underlying value system. And Nietzsche's answer to what that value should be, well, it might completely throw you for a loop.
In this explainer, we're going to hit 5 key areas together. The ultimate human value, redefining the will to power, the 4 rules for goals, the joy of resistance, and finally, finding meaning in human suffering. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The ultimate human value. Before we can really grasp Nietzsche's radical departure, we have to look at the common goals people usually chase. Wealth, status, social acceptance, happiness, pleasure, love, knowledge, comfort. Society constantly hardwires us to believe that a comfortable life filled with these exact things is the absolute pinnacle of human existence. But Nietzsche, he argues that if we truly want to maximize our fulfillment and reach our highest potential, we are looking in the completely wrong place.
He argued that the ultimate value we should hold above all else is actually power. He stated it bluntly, not contentment, but more power. He genuinely believed that everything proceeding from weakness is bad, and everything that heightens the feeling of power is good. Now hold on, I know what you might be thinking. Power sounds aggressive, doesn't it? It sounds kind of villainous. But to really grasp this, we have to understand exactly what he meant by that specific word.
Which brings us to Section 2, redefining the will to power.
See, our modern understanding of power is often completely backward. We usually think of Machiavellian power, controlling others, forcing people to do your bidding like some sort of comic book tyrant. But Nietzsche believed this desire to dominate is actually a manifestation of deep underlying weakness. He even called it the will to power of the weakest. Contrast that with true Nietzschean power. True power is about embodied internal growth and self-overcoming. It's a pure strength we express entirely within ourselves.
The contemporary philosopher John Richardson defines Nietzsche's concept beautifully. He calls it the enhancement of a capacity or an activity already given. To put that practically, think of an athlete who trains relentlessly and gets physically stronger, or a writer who sharpens their storytelling skills over years of grueling practice, or a teacher enhancing her capacity to educate. That internal growth, that expansion, that is the purest possible expression of power.
To build on that, Richardson points out that the goal isn't just existing for a long time. He writes, "Power is more life not by its mere continuation, but by life's being raised to a higher level of capacity and control. Power is transition to a higher level, a self-overcoming. The point of life isn't just to coast on autopilot. It lies in ascending, which absolutely requires overcoming the previous versions of yourself."
So how do we actually do that? That leads us to Section 3, the 4 rules for goals.
If you want to attain this power, you've got to formulate a goal that strictly fulfills 4 conditions. First up, it has to be meaningful and challenging. Second, it needs to promote your health and well-being, or the well-being of others. Third, it must be conducive to your personal excellence. And fourth, and honestly, this is the real kicker, it must be self-chosen. It has to be an authentic expression of your unique individuality, not some generic goal handed down to you by society, your parents, or your peers.
Nietzsche basically demands that we stop waiting around for external answers and take active responsibility. In one of his unpublished notes, he wrote, "Why you are here, that you should ask yourself. Set for yourself goals, high and noble goals. You are the architect. You have to actively choose the target."
Section 4, the joy of resistance. Because once you set those noble goals, guess what? Self-doubt, fear, and anxiety are absolutely going to crash the party. But in the context of power, these aren't actually bad things. Consider the analogy of a warrior and a worthy opponent. Just as a warrior grows far more skilled when facing a genuinely tough enemy, the seeker of power literally needs obstacles. Resistances are catalysts. When you smash into a hindrance and have to stretch the limits of your mind and body to get past it, that's exactly when your power increases.
This requires a massive shift in mindset. As Nietzsche puts it, the will to power can only express itself against resistances, hence, it seeks resistance. So instead of running away from anxiety, avoiding hard tasks, or complaining about problems, a truly strong nature actively seeks them out to push against. All expansion and growth require striving against something that pushes back. Which means, counterintuitively, we shouldn't even be striving for joy directly. Nietzsche actually defines happiness as the feeling that power increases, that a resistance is overcome. Joy is basically just a spontaneous side effect that tags along when you attain power. If you play what he called the game of resistance and victory, overcoming one hindrance just to immediately tackle the next, happiness is naturally going to accompany you on that ride.
Section 5. Meaning in human suffering.
For centuries, religious and political systems have tried to solve suffering by promising some pain-free future utopia. These true worlds like a heaven or a flawless political horizon. The pitch is always, endure suffering now, get a perfect reality later. But Nietzsche argues this is a tragedy because it completely devalues the only world we actually know we have, our present earthly reality. If we truly value power, we have to value the here and now. And yes, that means valuing the suffering that comes right along with it.
Because here's the thing. The problem was never that we suffer. We are incredibly tough animals. We can handle pain. The real curse, as Nietzsche observed, was that we lacked a meaning for our suffering. He wrote, "The meaningfulness of suffering, not suffering itself, was the curse that lay over mankind so far." Without meaning, we just slide into nihilism and world weariness. But the pursuit of power, it gives us that exact meaning. Suffering is defined by resistance. So if resistance is the essential ingredient to increasing our power, then suffering becomes deeply, intensely meaningful. We literally need it.
And this creates this beautiful, continuous system, a circle of power. You choose a goal, you confront the resistances, you increase your power, you attain the goal, and then, this is absolutely crucial, you put that achievement behind you and start the cycle all over again. The philosopher Bernard Register notes that the seeker of power doesn't seek achievements, they seek achieving. You just never stop. You don't hit a goal and then melt into your couch forever. You go find a fresh, even greater challenge. This ensures a lifetime of meaningful, productive action against the passivity that infects so much of modern life.
Ultimately, to live fully is to embrace this exact cycle. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche wrote, "And life itself confided the secret to me. Behold it, it said, I am that which must always overcome itself." There is no final finish line. There is no magical endpoint where you get to just stop growing. The goal is the joy of the circle itself, continual self-overcoming, without waiting around for salvation from anything outside of yourself.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one incredibly important question to ask yourself right now. What is the next resistance you must overcome? Seriously, think about it. Don't run from it. Seek it. Because stepping into the game of resistance and victory today is literally the only way to truly claim your power. Thanks for diving deep into this with me.